Hello, Easy Nation, and welcome to a brand new podcast that's brought to you by Darth. You might know me mostly from doing movie reviews and other things in the pop culture element. But there's one thing you don't know about me. Well, you probably do know about me if you've watched any of my videos. Is that I love sports. Sometimes I'll have either like a Seahawks hat or even a Kentucky Wildcat. I watch a bunch of different sports, but my big passion is really football, especially the last few years. So this podcast is mostly going to be the big focus of this new podcast is going to be mostly about football. I'll probably sneak in some college football and maybe I'll sneak in some like MLB playoffs and that kind of stuff. I won't touch the NBA or hockey because I like that stuff. Well, NBA is kind of on the back burner, and hockey, I enjoy it, but I have no knowledge of it, so I just won't even think about talking about that. So mostly this is going to be covering football and college basketball. And then maybe it's some baseball because I do love some baseball. But I'll probably just focus around the postseason time because that's really when it's the most interesting. So today's episode is I am going over the preseason top 25. It was revealed today from the AP poll came out. Now this is the number one place for your rankings. Later on in the year, you have the college football playoff rankings, which is the rankings that actually matter. But it is kind of interesting to see who gets ranked, where they're ranked, and now we're like, okay, these are kind of our marquee matchups that will kind of make the big games throughout the first part of the year. Because usually, sometimes the teams that are ranked number one don't stay number one. Like look at Indiana last year; they were ranked, I believe, 20th or 22 in the preseason poll, and they were clearly the best team in the country last year. So let's break it down. I'm gonna go from 25 to 1. So at number 25, we have Missouri. Missouri is out of the SEC. Um, I mean, they always have quality stuff every year. Their coach does a really good job. They probably won't make it too much further out of the top 25, but they're definitely a team to look out for. They're definitely not one you want to play. At number 24, one of the teams I hate the most, and that is Louisville. I mean, the coach there has done really good at Louisville. I'm looking forward to seeing Louisville play Kentucky at the end of the season. I'm a Kentucky Wildcat fan in college football, so I'm glued for punishment. So um, but it's going to be interesting seeing that game because I think Kentucky might be able to hang with Louisville maybe this upcoming season. Next, we have Houston. They're coming out of the Big 12. This is like their second or third year out of the Big 12. I mean, they've been quality the last few years, so that'll be one to check out. At 22, we have Iowa. Iowa always has that good Big Ten defense. They're always hard to handle. They last year they were better than they've been in a while, so we'll see if they can keep continuing that trajectory. At number 21, we have Utah. Utah has a new coach. Their current coach their last coach, who had been there a very long time, went to coach at Michigan. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back or maybe the program falls apart. But that'll be an interesting team to see as they battle in the Big 12. Because Big 12 is always an open conference. The last few years has been different teams. So we'll see what happens there. At number 20, we have Tennessee. This is the team I hate the most. I hate Tennessee. And they're ranked a lot lower than they've been in the last few years. I just don't know if his style of offense really can last an entire game because he does that run up speed game, but towards the end of the game you can't really play that way. So I don't think his style works. It works on some games, but sometimes it just doesn't. We'll see how they are. We'll go from there. At number 19, we have SMU. SMU has had some quality teams the last two seasons. They almost made the playoffs last year. If they had won their last game, they could have at least played in the ACC championship, and maybe they would have beaten Duke or Virginia. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them back in the college playoffs. It depends really because ACC is kind of like the Big 12. Anybody can really win it. At number 18, we have Penn State. We have a brand new coach. He's bringing basically his entire team from Iowa State, and I think I'm curious to see them what they do in the first this season. I don't know if they'll be as good as they were with James Franklin, but I like the coach. I like watching Iowa State play the last few years, so I think that'll be interesting. At 17, we have Washington. Washington has had last year. They at the end of the season, you're like, oh, they're starting to turn around, and I'm curious to see what they can do this upcoming season. Big Ten, a hard conference. There's a lot more quality teams this year, maybe out of the Big Ten. I mean, we're really not going to know until the first game of football plays, but I'm curious to see that. At number 16, I'm going with well, number 16 is Michigan. This is a brand new coach, brand new offense, brand new defense, brand new system. Kes his style match with the Big Ten style of play. I mean, he brought a lot of good wins at Utah, so I'm curious to see him come to coach at Michigan, which is probably one of the harder jobs in all of college football. Next, we have a tie between two teams. First, we go with BYU. BYU last year had a great season. They just lost to Texas Tech twice. So we'll see if they can bounce back this upcoming year. And then we have USC led by Lincoln Riley, who is still, I feel like he's still trying to find his groove. Coaching in the Big Ten, it's a lot harder than playing in the Big 12 or even the old Big 12, which was nothing but offense. But I think last year it was he started to kind of figure it out, and the team was a little more defensively ran. So I'm curious to see they play Oregon. I believe they play Oregon early in the season, so that's a game that I'm looking forward to checking out, and definitely be one I'll want to watch. Next, we have our number 13 team is Alabama. Roll Tide. I mean, Alabama, this is probably the lowest they've been ranked in a very long time. I am curious to see what kind of Alabama team I get to watch this year. I would love to see nothing but my Wildcats beat Alabama in week 2. That's for me. That's the test. That's the first big game of the year. I'm really looking forward to watching, just because that's going to tell me what to expect out of my Wildcats, which I'm not really expecting much. Next, we have number 12, and that's Texas Tech. Texas Tech had a great season. I think they're probably ranked a little too high. They lost the quarterback Sorsby with all that allegations against him, so he's trying to go to the NFL. But I think Texas Tech will be a team that will probably be further down the list. I mean, they might surprise everyone. I think their schedule's pretty weak though, so I mean that's the hard part about some of these teams is that they really don't play anyone, and even in their conference isn't that strong. I mean, they have BYU, but you don't play everyone in your conference. It's not like basketball. Next, we have 11. We have LSU. I am curious to see the Lane Kiffin show enter the LSU. I think he made a mistake, but I understand because LSU is one of the top jobs in all of college football. I think that will be a very interesting thing that happens this season. At number 10, we have Oklahoma. Um, the Boomer Sooner show. I mean, they were good the first half of the year, and then they kind of fell apart. Their quarterback got hurt. I think he's back, so I think that'll be interesting. But they're also a defensive ranked team. They play Michigan the second week of the season, so I think that will be a very interesting game to watch, and that will kind of tell us what to expect from them. At number 9, we have Ole Miss. Ole Miss had a really good season last year. What do they do now that we don't? This is no longer the Lane Kiffin system. This is more a defensive system. Can they keep up? Week 3 is going to be the big marquee matchup. They play LSU. Lane Kiffin returns home. I'll be surprised if that's not a great game to watch. And they also play Louisville the first week at Tennessee. They play at Music City. So that will be an interesting matchup. I can't imagine Louisville will hang much of a chance of Ole Miss, but who knows? At number 8, we're going with Texas. We have Texas A&M. Texas A&M, they had a really weak schedule last year, and it really shows where they lost to Miami in that first game at home. They didn't play anyone all year. And now that you have to play 9 games in the SEC, there's no hiding in that conference. So I am very interested to see what they do this upcoming season. At number 7, we have Miami. Miami had a great season last year. They have a brand new quarterback. I believe it's the quarterback that was at Duke last year. He was pretty good at Duke, and that system's been great. I mean, the last 2 quarterbacks have played really good for that Miami system. I mean, they went to the national championship game. Maybe some people say they didn't deserve to be in there. Some say Notre Dame should have been in there. I think you play in a conference, you deserve to be in the conference in the playoffs more than a team that just plays some weaker teams. I'm a Notre Dame hater, so you'll hear that probably all season long. At number 6, we have in the current national champions, the Hoosiers. Indiana is back trying to see if they can win it again. Kurt Cincinnati, he's lost 2 games in his first 2 years. He turned Indiana into a national championship playoff team. So I think that's going to be a very interesting to see. And now at number 5, we have Texas. Texas, the team is good. Arch Manning, he's in his 3rd year. Will he finally live up to the hype of the Manning name? They play a lot of hard teams this year in the SEC. So that will be something interesting to check out. Next, at number 4, we have Notre Dame. Notre Dame they're Notre Dame. I mean, I don't love their schedule. I don't love they don't play in a conference. I think it'd be good to see them in like the Big Ten or even the ACC like they are in basketball. But they're not going to be. They're going to keep that. They're going to keep that behind because but they don't win all their games, they aren't going to make the playoffs. They play BYU early in the year. I don't know what BYU is going to have, so they played some other teams. I think I can't remember exactly who they're playing, but their schedules they don't make the playoffs. Maybe the coach should be looked at maybe getting fired because he has a pretty cakewalk of a season this year. At number 3, we have Georgia, the Bulldogs. I mean, Georgia, Kirby Smart has done an impressive job at Georgia, becoming just one of the best coaches in college football. He just runs that team so perfectly well. I'm curious to see what happens this year with Georgia. I mean, like I said, you're playing 9 games in the SEC. It's harder to hide, even for like your easier teams. Everyone in the SEC is out for blood. Everybody, Georgia is like Kentucky in basketball. This is everybody's Super Bowl in the SEC. So Georgia and like even Texas, those are the teams you have to play. At number 2, we have Oregon. Oregon, I think will have a good season. They're fun. They're a fun team to watch. Their system. Curious to see how his offense runs without their offensive coordinator, who's now at Kentucky. So that's going to be interesting. But they're built on defense. He has kind of adopted the Big Ten model. So I think that will be interesting. And number 1 is Ohio State. Ohio State doesn't have a cakewalk this year. Last year they had a cakewalk of the Big Ten, and it really showed it when they played Indiana and they played. I can't remember who they lost to. I think it was Miami. Maybe I was wrong in my earlier thing. So I'm looking forward to college football season. We are only 2 weeks away. My plan right now is I will have an episode a week for each college football episode week. I will break down what's going on in what happened in the previous week, what games to expect, and I even introduced this thing called the easy game of the week, which will be my game I'm looking most forward to watching. So guys, I hope you guys liked. Guys, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button, subscribe, see more, tell your friends about Easy Nation, tell your friends we're getting started, and I'm looking forward to having a fun college football season with you all. So everybody, take care, and as always, all too easy.